Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to this live session with the MSc Experience. I'm going to be your host today. This live session on LinkedIn is brought to you by the UPF Barcelona School of Management. My name is Alberto Limpira. I am a professor of the Master of Science programs, especially on the Master of Science in Marketing. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the experience that some of our students have been enjoying so far in the different programs that we have and that we offer here at the UPF BSM. So the Master of Science programs, it is important to note that those are international programs focused on giving the students a very thorough preparation in different areas: management, business, marketing, finance, and international business as well. So today we're going to be joining by three current students, and we're going to have also a section for open questions in case that anyone would have any questions. You have a live chat available that you can use for giving us and sharing your comments or questions, so that I can ask them to some of the students that we're going to have today. So enjoy, and if you want to share anything on any social network, please use the hashtag live UPF BSM. All right. So without any further ado, we will go to introduce some of our students. So first, we will have Paul Sheck. Um, hey, Paul,
Hello.
how you doing? Welcome.
Very good.
So good. So, could you briefly introduce yourself before going with the next students as well?
My name is Paul. I initially come from Luxembourg. Then I spent some years in France, and finally now I'm here in Spain for the Master in Finance, which I will be presenting today. And as you can see, I'm in university.
Yeah, you're in the classrooms, right? Right. So I want to break the ice a little bit and get you all out of the comfort zone, being the crazy marketing teacher that I am. So could you tell me one of your hobbies, just to make things a little bit interesting?
Uh, I guess there's nothing specific. I mean, in Barcelona, maybe beach volleyball. We could say
Good.
that's my hobby. Yeah.
I bet this is something that you didn't try back home in Luxembourg, right?
Well, actually, we do. We do.
You do? Oh, you
One,
may know a
one.
lot of things. So this is one of the perks that you will have when you have such an international team working around. Great. Thank you, Paul. Let's go with Rebecca
Okay.
Laidholm.
Yes,
Hey, Rebecca.
hello.
How you doing?
Hello.
So
I'm
same thing
good.
here.
Yeah, my name is Rebecca. I'm 23 and I'm from Sweden, from Stockholm, where I've been living and studying my whole life in Lund. I studied my bachelor in service management and now I'm here in my home.
Great. Awesome. So calling Barcelona your home. That is nice.
Mm.
What is could you name one of your hobbies? I mean, it would be
And
only
I
fair.
love paddle, so that's why I'm in the
Paddle.
right country. Yeah.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. A lot of active people here. Great. And last but not least, we have Team Paul. Hey, team.
Hi,
Welcome.
hi, welcome. Thanks.
So, a brief introduction about yourself.
Sure. My name is Tim Pohl. Not to confuse myself with Pohl, our last names are only the same. I'm originally from Berlin, Germany. I did my bachelor in international business with a major in finance. And I love meeting new people, collaborating with people like all over the world. And that's what brought me here. So good to meet you guys.
Awesome. What about your hobbies, team?
Yeah, my hobby. Well, I think I'm a pretty active person as well. So mostly sports, gym, reading. But I have a hobby to be, which would be paddle. So maybe Rebecca, you can maybe take me in the game one day.
Great. Maybe we can create our own league here at the
Yeah.
Barcelona School of Management. Awesome. Great. Well, thank you, the three of you, to be here in the representation of the programs of Master of Science in Finance, Marketing, and International Business. You are here to not only to represent the current students, but also to share a little bit about the insights and how the experience of living in Barcelona and studying in one of the leading management schools in Europe, it's like also. So we're going to have, I'm going to ask you a few questions. And again, if anybody has any questions in the audience, feel free to write them in the chat and we're going to be able to answer to those questions. All right. So the first question that I would ask you is, why did you decide to study abroad? And furthermore, what made you finally choose your Master of Science program? So shall we begin with the same order that we introduced you? So Paul, could you go first?
Sure. Yes, I guess the reason to come here in the first place was some kind of, we wanted to see something new, let's say. And I guess Spain has a very unique culture, and for sure that was one of the reasons to come here. Then let's be honest, also Barcelona, near to the beach, it's good weather, so that certainly also played a role. But then I guess in the end, university, I mean, is in the end still the most important part. And why did I choose this specific degree? I would say for the finance master, I would say it's definitely the focus on quantitative methods. So we are heavily using Python, and in general, it's a very thorough program. We have lots of topics which are quite interesting, such as fintech, blockchain, where we really focus on a blockchain solution. Let's say not only how to trade Bitcoin. And I guess it's a connection of both. Like I really wanted to come to Barcelona, and then I like the program, so I guess it was a perfect match.
Great. Awesome. What about you, Rebecca?
So for me, I started by like deciding that I wanted to study abroad. Like that was my first, that's where it all started. So for me, living in Sweden my whole life and studying there, I wanted like a new international perspective, and not only in marketing, because I decided that marketing was the field, but also in general to have like an international perspective from people, meeting people from all over the world. And there, Barcelona is a great city because it's a very international city. And then I picked the country. So Spain for me was a good one, partly because I knew some Spanish and I wanted to improve that, even though I haven't so much, but a bit. And then also, I think, like, of course, everyone has like different experience with this, but price in Spain compared to many other countries in Europe is good. Like for me to live a life where you can actually do something that you like without always have to worry about that, it's huge. And then I started to look around in Barcelona, and for me, what like catch my eye with UPF was that it's like linked to a real university. It's not only a business school, which for me is like a good way for the degree. I like that it's a big and serious school with like a great reputation and it's established. For me also, I wanted a mix between like the creative and the also science-based knowledge, which UPF really is offering me. And an international school where I can meet a lot of new people. That was like one of the main focus for me to create a relationship with a lot of international people. So that one. And in the marketing classes, they're pretty small. We're like 17 in our class, which I appreciate. And you can have like a great relationship both to the teachers, but also to your classmates. So that was like, for me, my main.
Great. Great. Thank you, Rebecca. And last but not least, Tim, what about you?
Yeah, I think we all have a similar profile. I think studying abroad for me has a lot to do with just the international experience you gain. For me, I've always loved going abroad, have been traveling back with my family a lot, did a year abroad after my high school, traveled like nearly the world. And then I already did my bachelor in international business at the European University. So like from my grassroots of being in university, of being a student was very international. So for me, it was really important to keep doing that. And then I did my Erasmus exchange at the SEUPF, which is a sub business school of the UPF, and which actually offers the international business course together with the BSM. So that's how I got to know the whole UPF and was really satisfied with the way of teaching. It's very different to the German style of teaching because in Germany it's very very applied. A lecture is like a teacher talks, at least in the normal universities, for 3 hours, and you don't say a word. And here it's like very case-based, very interactive. Many teachers from have a good business background, and of course the city. I mean, I fell in love with Barcelona during my Erasmus year, and I just love the language, the people, and that's what made me check and look for masters here. And then I found the BSM, and especially the international business program. It's really applied. You learn quite a lot, especially for people coming from different backgrounds as well. I mean, for me, I have a business background, but you get into it very, very well, and it gives you lots of opportunities, and broadens your mind to all the aspects a business has. And also for founding your own company, it gives very, very great foundations for analyzing a business, and how to manage a company. So that was for me one of the main reasons to go into the BSM and the master.
Great, awesome. So I would do a summary of some of the things that you mentioned. So Barcelona for sure played a huge role in this, right? And we're lucky to be in one of the. I mean, I may be biased, I know, but one of the most beautiful European cities, right? We have the perk of living by the sea, so as soon as we get any that we, I mean, those days are really common here, and you probably should know this. Very sunny days, even during winter, we can go and head up to the beach, even if it's too cold for you to bathe in. I don't know. I would say that probably Rebecca could be used to these cold waters, but I mean,
Yep.
judging by from where you come from, also the international experience, right? Meeting new people, and for sure the academic background, how the style of studying things. Paul was mentioning things like talking about blockchain. It's not only about talking about the latest things, but going beyond what is being trendy and prepare for what is coming up next, so that we can be prepared. I mean, you can be prepared for what's coming up next. Those would be probably in summary of what you have said. So great, awesome. So another question would be, how is your day to day in the program at the UPF Barcelona School of Management? And how does it feel to live nowadays in Barcelona, especially because when you arrive, we were just, well, we're still living in amidst the pandemic, right? But you have seen the evolution of how the city has adapted, and we also had to adapt to the ease of the restrictions and so forth. So shall we go with the same? No, let's go with Rebecca first. Let's try to mix things up a little bit.
Okay. So my everyday life here. Well, we have classes every day because they're mandatory, up to 80% of the attendance. So you have to go to class, and for us, it's between 3 to 6 hours a day. In between, we go for lunch at the rooftop at BCM, the campus that I'm at. They have like a fantastic rooftop in the middle of the city, so you hang out there. Then we also have like a couple of assignments every week. It could be small reports, bigger things, presentation. So usually I stay here a couple hours, prepare for that. Each term we have three terms, and each term is approximately 5 courses with the master thesis aside. And in the beginning, it was a bit broader, like I appreciate this term a bit more, but the first one was also good. But now we're studying, for example, consumer behavior, branding, communication, like all the fields that it's connected to marketing, which I really appreciate. I would say, like, in general, it's busy, but it's not overwhelming. It's not like you can't go out on the weekends to do fun things with your friends, but you still have a lot of things to do, which makes sense because we're studying the master. So, and Barcelona as a city, I haven't been here before I came. Like, this was my first time when I moved, and I'm super happy about my choice of place. Like, I love Barcelona. It's not too big. I'm from Stockholm, and I would even say that Barcelona is a bit smaller, which makes it like good for in the beginning when moving to a new city. You feel pretty home, like you know a lot of places pretty fast, which I appreciate. Of course, the weather for me, I'm used to maybe the worst for many. So that makes a lot. Like I love the weather. It's also in general like it's such a friendly and international environment. People are super open-minded, and you get to know not only in school but in general in this town. You get to know so many interesting people from everywhere and can hear their stories. So Barcelona, in my opinion, is the greatest place to study in.
Great, awesome. Thank you, Rebecca. Shall we jump into Tim?
Sure. So for us, classes are mainly from 9:30 to 1, and I think it was like this the whole last term. No, last term we had one class in the evening because we had a teacher who was basically working during the day. But I enjoy that, having classes in the morning, because after that you have the whole day to spend your time, even like take some time off, use the good weather, even in winter, take some sun, and I shift my work then in the evening, which for me raises quality of life, because you have something of the day, and like coming from Berlin, we have quite a lot of rain and bad weather. So combining that with the workload we have, which is quite high and has been very intense last term especially. So my day consists of group assignments, mixed with individual assignments, like with this case study approach, working with most of my classmates and teams, coordinating the assignments we have, the workload we have. Um, and well, we spent some time working at university. There's like a common area in the building downstairs which is really nice. I personally prefer working alone, so that's why I need my quiet space. That's why I'm not working there. But it's really nice, and most of the students from my class are spending their time there. And right now, living nowadays in COVID times here in Barcelona right now it's normal actually. Like the last term was okay. There were some restrictions, but actually the new university is trying to make everything possible to have it as normal as possible. Classes are face to face, which is really nice, and for me that's really important that the BSM is taking care of that and encourages students to be on campus as long as it's, of course, aligned with the COVID regulations, and but also offers the opportunity to be online. So in case you're not feeling well or whatever, you can take part. But I'm mostly going to classes and enjoy that. Yeah, so life is good. You can enjoy the weekends, and but still have a high workload. But I think this town makes it very possible to manage all together, connect with students while working, and let's say evening activities.
Right, right. And last but not least, now Paul.
So I completely agree with what both said before. So for the finance master, I think there's a slight difference between the first term and the second, and also then the third. So in the first term, we had the classes in the morning, which was nearly on a daily basis. Lots of assignments, lots of group work. I mean, we go to the common areas already mentioned, and one thing I sincerely appreciate is that in those common areas you really get to know the people from the other masters. So I say, even though I'm in the Master of Finance, I know nearly all the people from the other three masters, which is well, there is still the fourth master management, which unfortunately today is not represented here, but those three masters, and then it's just a nice opportunity to meet some people, as you said, more international people. And yes, but I'm not going to lie, it's quite a lot to work. What might be a bit different in the Master of Finance is that we have especially a lot of teachers which are actually professionals. And so the schedule might not be a straight 9 to 12, or what was it, 9 to 1. I think we were 9 12 was our classes. That doesn't always work out. So we have lots of classes which get shifted a bit around because the people, they really work, and this is really the experience they bring to us. So we really appreciate this kind of teachers when they say, okay, the one class is in the afternoon, maybe you have 3 classes in 1 week because somebody needs to come from Madrid here to give us a class. That is really, it gives the master some kind of dynamics, which personally I really appreciate. Then now in the second term, it's a bit different because at least at the beginning of the term, we were introduced to lots of new topics. And obviously we need some time to get into the topics before we can actually work on the assignments. So we have what I mentioned, the fintech, blockchain classes. And basically also they were shifted to the afternoon. So we more or less prepare ourselves in the morning, but also now there are more and more people who start an internship. I don't know exactly how it is in the other classes, but at least in the finance master, I would say roughly half of the people from our class do an internship now, or half-time, full-time. Full-time is maybe a bit too much, to be honest. But obviously then they need the time in the morning to actually work. And in the afternoon or after lunch, they come to class, which so far seems to work out pretty well.
Great. Great. So yeah, a few things to note, just to remind those of you who are watching, that Rebecca is in the Master of Science in Marketing, Tim is in the Master of Science in International Business, and Paul in the Master of Science in Finance. And this is why in the day-to-day life of each program, you may find some differences, right? What Paul was saying about having practitioners, which is also something that happens in some of the other programs. I mean, you will have different dynamics, but all of them trying to guaranteeing the high quality of the programs. Also, to know that all the Master of Science programs are full-time programs. So exactly what Paul was saying, having a full-time internship probably is a little bit difficult. And to mention to what the three of you also referenced, which is that you know that the UPF is among the best universities in Europe, and it has been fighting their way up to the top, usually by highlighting and working hard on the quality of the not only the students and the academic background, but also the faculty that is behind everything. So the Barcelona School of Management is aiming to that as well. And this is why, well, I mean, you have to work, right, to do that. But I mean, working in Barcelona for sure could make it easier, or at least more enjoyable, as you have mentioned, right? So another question that I wanted to ask you is, if you have any tip or advice that you can provide to future Master of Science students, what would that be? So shall we begin with Tim this time around?
Sure. I think for me, what came to my mind when you just asked that question are mainly two things. So the first thing would be make sure which master is really appropriate for you, because especially between international business and management, they are very different to each other, and that you really check which one bestly like suits your profile, and that you check which one requires you to have more previous experience in a certain field, or because what you have in our course, for example, you do not have the opportunity to choose courses. Ours is completely set from the beginning, so you know what you can expect. But for example, in the management course, you have the opportunity to choose, and I think that's the same in the finance course, when I'm not mistaken, Paul. That you have the opportunity to specify in a certain field. So to see what best fits your personality. Do you want to have a given track and go through it, or you want to have more individualization? And second thing is check with the housing. Don't be scammed in Barcelona. There's a lot of problems with that the city has, and I heard some people had some struggles with that. It's not that it's like the biggest problem, but I think that you should take care of like where you find a place, and find a place close to university, which is a nice area. Yeah, I think that these are my two recommendations. I hope they can help.
All right. So Rebecca.
Yes. So I have a couple recommendations, I would say. First of all, and this is not the recommendation, but just a tip of like prepare yourself to really live in an international environment. And it's in a good way, but it's just very important to just remember, because it's not only in school, but in Barcelona in general. I would also say that in marketing, mostly everything is in teams. Like you work a lot in teams for assignments, not for the final exam, of course, but in general, there's a lot of teamwork, which is always good uh, to learn and practice. But it's like important to notice that there's not too much individuals, most for teams. Also presentations, which is a great way for practicing. Like for me, I didn't like presenting in front of a class before, but now you push yourself and now you're here. So that's also good to notice. And I would say regarding the marketing in general, like if what I appreciate with this marketing master is that you get an opportunity to see the whole field. You like see everything in between communication to PR and analytics. But if you are very specified or you know before that you want to really specify in one certain field of marketing, then maybe this program is a bit broad. Um, but for me, this was just an opportunity because I didn't know exactly what I wanted, and I do appreciate that you get a very broad understanding of the marketing field. And then like I don't know, the UPF, like the staff, they're very helping. They're helpful. If you have any questions before or during or after, they will always help you, which I realized. And the last one is just like have fun. It's a fun experience, and do it just because you will learn so much more. Like you will learn a lot in school, and it's a great school, but you will also uh, experience so much things around and meet so much interesting people. So don't forget to it's a fun experience as well.
Right. Awesome. Thank you, Rebecca. Paul, what about you?
Yes, so my best advice would be patient and be motivated. This is certainly, and you might laugh, but it's true. I mean, we have the master in finance really covers um, a breadth of topics that it's impossible to see everything in class, but they provide you with all the opportunities to learn more if you want. So the teachers are extremely helpful. If you have a question, you can ask them. And then what I would recommend everybody is if there's a topic which interests you, just use your free time and dive deeper. I mean, personally, I've bought already several books to really dive deeper into certain topics, and that's what I would recommend everybody, because this ultimately is also useful for your own career at the end. And that brings me to the second advice I really recommend every student, but especially in finance, that is inform yourself about the areas uh, which interests you, and be ready to apply for jobs early on. I mean, that's really something one might think, okay, finance is a narrow topic, but no, it is definitely not. I mean, there is a asset management, fintech, investment banking, commercial banking. You can go into the finance department of a company. So there's really a lot where you could go. And I think it's just too much to just wait till the end. And that's what I mean. You should be motivated, passionate, and take your free time to narrow a bit down what you want to specialize in, and then also be early on to apply, because many graduate programs they close in November. So I miss them, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But also that was not my goal. I wanted to go, but that's definitely something I think people should keep in mind, that be early on is very important. And then for the rest, I guess people more or less said everything there is. So I guess that's it.
Great. Great. So just to summarize a little bit again, so know what you want to study and know that the program that you are applying to, it's a good fit, is important. I mean, extremely important. As with anything in life, right? You have to make sure that you are going the right path. Also to, I mean, to prepare to the experience that you're going to live. You know, living in an international environment has, I mean, a lot of perks, but also living away, going away from home could be also something a little bit challenging. And be prepared, right? Like Paul was saying, right? Be prepared for being ready all set to follow to go into the next step, whatever that next step would be for you. Some of you know that because the Master of Science are official degrees. If anyone would like to pursue a doctorate degree or PhD afterwards, this could also be the path for you. So the next step could be very different for many for each student. So to be prepared for that could be also important. I want to just remind people that you can ask some questions, any questions on the chat, so that we can answer them. I think we have a couple of them to ask you. Yeah. So the first one, okay, this is a great one. If you were to ask, if you were asked to describe your experience in one word, which one would it be? Think thoroughly. One word, only one word. Your experience. Let me know who wants to go first.
I can go first. I would
Go.
say intense. Intense in all
Intent.
ways. I mean, the program is intense, life is intense, and so it's going to be an interesting year. Let's say there's 3 years packed in one. I would say.
Good. Good. Great. So
I
intense.
would say maybe
Yeah.
challenging. Yeah,
Okay.
challenging, but also in a
Challenging.
positive mind. Like every child, I don't know, like everyone has different experience, but a challenge of moving from your home, as you're mentioning, and like challenge yourself socially to just meet new people all the time, and in school, of course, a lot of new knowledge and learnings. So challenging would be my word.
Great. Great. And what about Tim?
I go, I go with the two words both said, and I would go with development of a network, development of social skills, development of presentation skills, as you said, Rebecca, development of scientific skills, of research skills, of applying your knowledge, and development of your personality, of how to deal with people. Yeah, I think that fits very well.
Great. So great. I mean, at the end, we're talking about a transformation, right? When you pursue a master, you look to transform yourself. I mean, for the good, usually, right? With intensive hard work, that is going to set some challenges, right? To bring you out of your comfort zone. You know that you are not going to be able to move further along and move forward if you don't ever step out of your comfort zone, and that is going to help you to develop a lot of skills, as Tim is saying. I love those three words. So we have another question from the chat. So Paul, you mentioned you're using Python a lot. Did you have previous knowledge on it? Good one.
Mm, no, I've never used it in my life. I need to say in this regard that this is as far as I'm informed, this is the first year where we're actually using Python, and I think university did manage it quite nice. So we have a brush up course which gives the basic in Python, and then the program is built up basically over 3 courses, where the third one is an optional course. And so we start with a broader data analytics course where we slightly touch the topic of big data. In the second term, which is now, we have a data science class, which is then more applied Python, and really starting to scratch on machine learning and specific data visualization. And then in the third term, there is a class where we will deep dive deep dive as far as you can during 1 year. Obviously, we will go deeper into this machine learning area, see neural networks, and well, I don't know. That's what the syllabus says. So, but I think there's still going to be some changes for next year. But all in all, there is no knowledge in Python needed. Even though if you have knowledge, I mean, it's still challenging. We have people they knew about Python, and well, also they need to study. It's no way around.
Great. Great. So good thing that you mentioned the syllabus. It's good to know that everything is on the syllabus, and students should always go and take a look at that. And those are also available on the UPF BSM website. So correct me if I'm wrong, but Rebecca, I think that you also touch a little bit of Python on the marketing program, right?
Yes, we did. We had a course in big data, and then we had some Python learning. So no one in my class, I think, had any through it together.
Great. Right. So it's good to know. I mean, we try to implement that in different programs when it's going to add up value. So we have another question also. So this is a question for Rebecca. What was the most interesting subject in marketing for you so far?
So for the question, uh, so far behavior is very interesting. Uh, as the teacher is great, and he makes everyone very interested. So, and it's a bit psychology in it with the in relation to marketing. So yeah, that one I would
All
say.
right. So just because we had some sound problems at the beginning, you were mentioning
Oh
consumer behavior. Was that right?
yeah, sorry. Oh
Cons- Good. No, don't worry. Now it's good. So consumer behavior because it involves the psychology behind a lot of the behavioral aspects of consumers. That is what you said, right?
yes.
Okay, great, awesome. I think we have another question. Um, yeah. So, hi, I plan to study abroad for a master's degree, and my concern is what is the difference between a graduate program and an undergraduate student in learning? So, I don't know if this is a question for you, but if you feel like you can answer that to help Anki to know a little bit more. Yes, Jim.
Definitely. I think. Please let me know if I interpret the question correctly. But I guess the question is, what is the difference between a bachelor's degree and a master's degree? Because
Correct. This is
I
what
have
I
seen,
understand. Yeah.
yeah, because I have seen also that for some job positions, obviously they don't require the master, even though it's in the final process a huge advantage. Uh, Well, I guess the specific difference between the master and the bachelor is that the bachelor gives you a broad base, let's say. So after a bachelor's degree, also the bachelor's degree I did was more theoretical. So the specific skills you get from a bachelor's degree, they are quite limited. In the master, you choose your subject. Mostly the subject goes more into detail. Um, it is not that the concepts are so much more advanced, but they are so much more applied. So we really learn how to use the theory we are learning. And there is also less and less theory and more practice. I mean, we mainly work with case studies. The assignments get more, I would say, realistic. So more like really working in a team in a company, and here you work in your team in university, but the assignments they are more applied. And I guess that's the main difference, that you really get the technical and the soft skills you will need for your job. So it's not about learning the theory and I don't know, for example, in economics, knowing what Keynes said so several years ago. I mean, that's here it is about the new techniques, the new technology, and how it is applied.
Great, awesome. Would you add anything, Tim or Rebecca?
I think I fully agree with what Paul said. That I mean, it might be different in between countries, anyways. Because I think my experience would have been very different if I would have done the master in Germany. Um, and but I think in general, the point of having it very applied is true. That especially like in our IB course, everything is like you learn the theory, sure, but then you have to apply it to the real market world, to the real markets and to the real world. So like how is the company actually behaving? and how are other companies behaving? How can you leverage that? Because for us, the master thesis is a business plan in most cases, and then we use the things we learn in class, the theories, the frameworks, the techniques, the research skills, to implement that into the master thesis. So I think it's mainly very, very applied.
Right. All right. All right, guys. I think we have one final question that we want to ask you. And is there anything that surprised you for the good about living in Barcelona? Something unexpected that you're going to take if you ever get to leave Barcelona? Because we know we had a lot of students that they come to study at the UPF BSM and they finish being in love with the city and can never go back home. Do you have anything?
Um, I'm going to start with a little joke, which it's not a joke, it's true, but I'm definitely going to miss the very affordable kava in the bars and restaurants. I think, yeah, it's a
That's
fair
part of
point.
the life, yeah,
It's
correct,
part of the
yeah.
life, yeah.
Yeah.
And how warm it is in winter, it's crazy. It was so sunny every day. The sun was shining. That really surprised me this
Yeah,
term. Yeah.
great.
No, I fully agree.
Rebecca.
Like for me, I, as I mentioned, I haven't been here before, and now I'm deciding to try to stay. So if anyone has a job out there, hit me up. No, I'm just kidding. No, but
Good.
so like everything, I think the atmosphere, like the vibe, how people are against each other. The As I mentioned, I'm coming from a country with a very pricey. Everything is expensive. Here it's not. So that's a big thumbs up also. And the weather, like now it's as cold as it can be for now, and it's like 10, 15 degrees. So that's great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I fully agree with what was said. It's a bit cheaper than other places in Europe. The weather is always good, and yeah, nothing to add.
All right. So yeah, we usually have great weather all year long. So it is great. So well guys, thank you so much for joining me to share your experiences in Barcelona and at the UPF BSM. Rest assured, I mean, I'm going to tell you this, but you know this for a fact that this is going to be your home even after you finish the program. We encourage I mean, not only students but also alumni to come back and to revisit us. We even had some students and some alumni that have come back to be part of the faculty team also of the Barcelona School of Management. Um, so I would say that if you had like a final thing to say goodbye, Paul, Rebecca, and team, to say goodbye to the audience.
Well, I
Yeah,
hope to see you here. And if there's any questions that you guys have after this, just hit me up on LinkedIn and I will help you out. But
Yeah,
all the best.
we try to increase the network, right? This is something that you are going to, I mean, for sure going to get if you come here. Paul, what about you?
yeah. Well, thank you for joining us today. And then I fully agree. So if there should be anything, I would be happy if somebody has another question, you can always contact me or contact any of my colleagues from school. And also we received some alumni from last year or for the previous years. I guess it's going to be the same next year then. So who knows? Maybe you need to see me again.
Right,
Yeah,
Tim.
I think I can only add to that. Feel free to reach out if you have any question, any doubt. I hope we could give you some insights into our life, into how the school works, and go ahead, make your decision, and try to find the right path for you and your future.
Awesome. All right. So, just a reminder for those of you watching that you can always go to the BSM website, the bsm.upf.edu. You're going to find all the information about the Master of Science program and all the programs from the school as well. And you have a great team behind that is going to help you through the decision process to figure out if the program that you're looking for is the right fit for you and what you can expect from applying to a master program at the UPF Barcelona School of Management. I am Alberto Limpira. Thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to connect, as we all said, and we are all here to help you out. And if you want to share this, remember using the live UPF BSM hashtag. Have a great one.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Thank you.